That's a good girl.
All right, welcome back to the Eye of Stone podcast for franchise Hump Day, even though it's Thursday. It's been a while, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
I think it's the first episode we're filming when I'm in the new house. So
Oh yeah.
True.
Hells yeah.
Well, I know we haven't done one in general in at least 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it's been a minute.
but there's just been a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, we tried to do one, then it was like Halloween, and then there's just a lot going on. So
Yeah, and we've been filming heavy for the next movie too, so that's kind of been taking up my creative time. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about this movie for sure. I've actually watched it twice now for this episode, so
picked up all the little stuff you missed before.
Super, refreshed on it. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about Sicario, and originally I was thinking we might do both movies, but I just felt like this one just needs its own episode. And
yeah, I'd agree with that. There's a lot that happens in Sicario.
Yeah, and I honestly need to refresh on the second one, so
Same.
There's that too, and
I don't think there's a place where you can watch that for free, unfortunately.
Probably not. I actually think I own it on my Fandango account or whatever.
I have it on DVD or Blu-ray somewhere. It's packed in a box. So
gotta post our live really quick. Dima, was this your first time watching this movie?
No.
Oh, okay. That's
I thought it was when we first mentioned it, and then as soon as I started it it came back to me.
I'm shocked.
I swore that me and you watched it at the mall.
I think we did.
Okay.
Probably.
Got paid to watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was just assuming you hadn't seen it, but I also was like, I think we did watch it at the mall. So, all right. Go ahead and share this link in case anybody wants to pop in. All right. I'm so unprepared for this. I didn't make my normal cover art or anything. I'm just like, this is also my first time using my new setup here, so we can get kind of figuring this out. I was doing like my Saturday episodes in the garage and then this in this room. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it all from one room. I'm tired of this shit.
Might as well.
I mean, the Wi-Fi is better in the house, obviously. So yeah, anyways. All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started with ratings. I will just go ahead and say that this movie is a 4.5 out of 5 stones for me.
Matt?
Oh, 5 out of 5.
-2.
Why?
All right, see you, Dino.
Definitely a 4.
Yeah,
Oof,
can we just ban Dima?
Yeah, I was gonna remove you. It was so close to happening. So wait, you said a 4?
A 4.
Okay.
All right, that's respectable.
Yeah. I don't know why I just can't give this movie a 5. I don't know why. I just can't.
It's almost there.
Something's missing.
Well, I have a little issue with the movie, but we'll get into that.
We'll get to issues when we get to issues.
Yeah. Thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Abby.
Matt says thank you too. Did you know that her and Janie are becoming friends over Taylor Swift?
That doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised they didn't try and find each other when they were at the concert.
Well, she said Janie messaged her, like sent her a picture of where she was at.
Yeah.
And then so like she messaged her back. Abby and her sister and cousins got lucky because they were like next to the stage, almost behind it to where they couldn't really see Taylor Swift. They were just going to be watching the big TV live.
Oh, I think they got their seats upgraded, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Janie was telling me about that.
They were literally like right next to the stage, basically.
Nice.
And they didn't pay dick for those tickets. So yeah.
Nice.
They got very lucky. Because like up until I'd say the week of, Abby was hoping she could get tickets for like the next night and get like seats to where she could actually see Taylor Swift. So, so yeah, it worked out.
I don't care how much I like somebody. If I can only manage to get seats behind the stage, it's not even worth it to me.
I mean, that's where we had kind of sat when we first saw her in Cincy.
Oh,
We were
really?
kind of sitting with like, here's like this like stage, right? And then we were like back here. So like we could see the stage, but like that main big screen, nah. We were like watching, they had like multiple like screens up. And we were like watching to see what was happening kind of there, like off to the side.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still like one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I said,
shout out to Taylor Swift.
we saw the movie in the theater, and I was like, man, I missed out.
Yeah, shout out to my homegirl T Swift.
I don't feel bad though, because I gave my ticket to my sister-in-law, and her and Abby had a great time together. So
there you go.
And I'm sure Taylor Swift will dominate the world again very soon.
Yeah.
Plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again and she's there, and
she's a good luck charm for the Chiefs. I don't know, man.
She's definitely not in Sicario though, so
no, yeah. Unfortunately, Taylor Swift is not in Sicario. So I'm trying to think of where I want to start.
Probably the beginning.
Well, I want to start by talking about my favorite character in the movie. And I think it'd be fun if we can all share who our favorite character is.
Okay.
Because there's and I already think we know who Matt's is, but I just think this movie has a very like broad variety of characters that all have to come together for this like single mission. And it's such an eclectic group, so and the dynamics are very cool, and I don't know. So do one of you guys want to start, or do you want me to start?
Go after you.
After me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, 1 second. I'm sharing our link on the Instagram, I think. Okay. My favorite character is Alejandra.
Okay. Do you want to share why, or do you want the rest of us to go?
In like a brief description, I just am always a fan of the silent lone wolf type, and he screams that from the moment he is on screen.
So fun fact about Del Toro's scenes. During filming, they actually cut 90% of his dialogue. So he was supposed to say so much more in the movie. And like from the get-go, he's like sharing like who he is, what he does, like stuff like that with like Kate, Emily Blunt's character, and everything like that. And they were just like, this doesn't feel right. Like this doesn't feel like who his character should be. So they cut, like I said, 90% of his lines from the movie to turn him into that strong, silent type character.
That was the correct decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I saw I don't know if it's an interview or just like something for like behind the scenes, but Denis Villeneuve, however you say his name, the director, that he literally said that was like his decision, like solely his decision. He just felt like it would really add more to his character to take away.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad too, because apparently the script, like he literally told Kate his story like several times.
Out the gate.
Yeah. And I'm like, that would have totally changed the whole feel of the movie for me, because like the mystery is what I love in general. There's so much mystery with what's going on and who's on what side and whatever's going on, but him solely just as a character, the mystery with him is my favorite part. Like I don't know. And even at the end of the movie, like even though you feel like you get a resolve almost, it's still just like, I don't know where this guy stands with some things. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I love that about his character. And Benicio del Toro is one of my favorite actors in general. So fun fact, I was a kid, so forgive my ignorance in saying this. I used to tell my dad I like Mexican Brad Pitt.
Dude, yes.
Because if you look up
Mm-hmm.
pictures of him when he's younger and Brad Pitt, they look very similar.
They look eerily similar, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they still do though.
Yeah, they still kind of do, but yeah, I called him Mexican Brad Pitt. I'm like, wow, that's so not
Oh.
okay. But hey, you know what?
It's a different time. Different time.
Yeah, I was like
You get
6 or
away with a lot
7,
more.
and
You didn't know any better.
I'm trying to remember what movie he was in. My dad would watch a lot. Was he in Natural Born Killers?
You know what? I think he might have been.
Okay. There is a movie he was in that my dad used to watch, and I just really liked him as a character. But I couldn't say his name, so I just called him Mexican Brad Pitt.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No,
Kids.
I don't think he was actually.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what movie it was then. But either way. Demo, you want to go ahead and say who your favorite character is?
Well, because you said who I was going to say, I'm going to have to switch it.
You don't have to switch. You can have the same favorite character.
No, I was going to say Alejandro because I like that he was originally a lawyer, but because of this traumatizing thing that happened to him with his family, he just became like this different person and kind of became just a badass.
Yeah. It's also funny because Reggie, like, originally isn't accepted into the mission because they're like, yeah, no lawyers.
No lawyers on this train.
Yeah, but they kind of have one.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah. All right, go ahead, Matt. We already know who it is.
You guys do. So it's Jeffrey Donovan. And he plays Steve Forsing. I think Forsing is his last name. I don't think it's ever said. I know they say Steve in the movie, but I don't think they ever say his last name.
It's only credited.
But dude, just from the get-go, like his scenes, like when they first show up on base, and Josh Brolin. I also love Josh Brolin's character. But he like asks Steve like how he's doing, and he's like, "It hurts when I pee." Is like the first thing he says. And they're like, well, like, what's your pee look like? And he's like, yellow with red specks. There's like red specks or blood. Like, and, and then they're talking about like the terrorist plot to like sink Fiji. And he's just like, leave Fiji alone, terrorists. Like, he goes from this like joke character, like this jokester, right? Like in the briefing, right? And like, for, all intents and purposes, like briefings are, especially pre-op briefings, are super important. And like he's just like, and then they tap him, he's like, huh, what? Like, and it's just like, and then goes to completely like, I mean, he's even still like kind of a jokester in the car, up until the bridge scene, and then it's like complete 180 personality, like just gets super serious, like an accountant with a 1,000-mile stare. That it's just like it's just a phenomenal character.
Yeah, I do appreciate, like you said, he's like a comic relief almost in the not so serious moments, but like when there is like a situation that calls for tactical prowess, he just like snaps
there,
and he's so locked in. It's just like, damn, dude. Like that whole, I'll just go and say my whole favorite sequence in the movie is when they're extracting the guy for the cartel and they get stuck on the highway. And that is just such an intense sequence of scenes. Kate's getting exposed to this whole world she's never seen before. Like she sees the dead bodies hanging from the bridge, and you just see like federal police, like it looks like a war zone basically. And it's just so much to try to soak in, but everyone else she's with is just used to it. Like this is just the job,
right? Well, like so like in the briefing scene, right, the guys like they like get in there and they ask Josh Brolin like, you come with, you stay in here, and he's like, oh, like we'll go if you loan us a couple pop guns. And the marshals are like, ask him like, your hands like you sober? And then he's just like, will be by the time I get there. And the marshal's just like, I got a bottle in the car in case your hands get shaky. You know, just like those sequences where you hear like the Delta guys talking, and they're just like one of them. You can hear one of them in the background, like, "I thought you were in prison," and they're what the other guys like. They let me out in good behavior. Somebody had to do this job. Like just these sequences of like these guys who are like stone cold killer, you know, like tier one high speed low drag operators, like just joking around with each other, and then like, you know, they're you know, going through Mexico. You know, it's like you see their eyes going everywhere. They're on the lookout, and then they get to the prison, and Alejandro's still in the car, and he's just like, nothing's gonna happen here. You know, because you see Kate like, you know, and he's just like, if they try anything, it's gonna be at the border. And then like the border sequence just is like I have nitpicks and gripes about any movie that involves firearms, kit, and things like that. And I do have them about this movie, but the sequence, the aerial sequence looking down, and you see them like get out of the cars, set their perimeter, like a couple people move up to like get to the vehicle, right? And I mean, like they're like, you know, like on it, right? Like just, you know, like it's there's no joking around, like everybody's serious, and like their faces are covered. And there's like that scene at the end where they've got the civilians that run the car next to them on the ground, and the one guy's just like, don't look at me, like, you know. Like it's just like just stone cold motherfuckers, like hands down. Just that scene made the movie, in my opinion. And I think that scene probably gets the most attention outside of the movie. Like that's probably like if you look up Sicario on YouTube, like that's the thing that's going to show up more than anything else.
Yeah, it's very similar to. Have you guys seen Den of Thieves? There's a scene near the end of the movie where they're
that's another
sitting.
5 out of 5 stones movie.
That movie's so good, and we'll definitely cover that one day. I'm a Gerald Butler fan, so like any movie he's in, I'm like, yes. But there's a similar scene where they're shut down on the highway, and like I actually was talking to Cody about that scene because I have a scene in our movie that's kind of similar to that. And I was like, you know, in your opinion, how like close to realistic is the way that they approach, you know, exiting the vehicle and the shootout? And he said it is all pretty good. Like it checks out for the most part. He said he's got some nitpicks, but I love the way it's filmed. I just love the way that scene is filmed, and it is very similar to Sicario. So yeah, scenes like that are just so cool. Like when you're just like stuck in traffic and you got somebody behind you with guns that you know is like coming for you.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, you can either go this way or you got to figure out how to get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's like shit's getting real, so we're just getting real.
And while we're on this part of the movie, my favorite shot, like in terms of cinematography, is the camera's like mounted on the back of one of the federal police trucks, and there's a guy like with a mounted gun. And it's like the camera is moving with the bed of the truck as it's driving. That is just such a cool shot. It literally makes you feel like you're in a Call of Duty like campaign or something.
It makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah, it's just like a cut scene of like, I don't know. I just really love that shot. And then they revisit it again later, and they have two trucks. So it's like the camera is on top of a truck that's behind two trucks, and both trucks are just like, and they're going through the city streets, and I don't know. It's so cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Dima, what's your favorite part of this movie?
I probably have to say either the bridge scene or the ending.
Yeah,
like the tunnel scene, or
no, when Alejandro clears the house.
Okay, yeah.
Oof, yeah. See, for me, that is what I would say. Like when I say I like the ending, that's the ending. But then it also mixes in with my gripe with the movie. But we'll get to negatives
in
a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, no, him clearing the house is awesome.
Yeah.
And
so like this movie, right? Like it there are a couple like, well, I guess we don't want to get to nitpicks yet, but because I have a few. but it just I'm trying to think of the way I want to say this. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I also forgot John Bernthal was in this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my favorite surprise in this movie.
Completely forgot about him until like we get to like that bar scene and whatnot.
And he does such a good job with that part too.
He does, and
Yeah,
like my wife hates that part. She hates like wet willies, right?
Oh, okay.
And so when they've got him in the back of the car and they're like asking him for like all the corrupt guys, like Alejandro like puts his finger in his ear, and like when most people get like a wet willy, you're getting like that far in, right?
Oh, he
like
goes
his whole finger goes in John Bernthal's ear.
Yeah, and you can tell because he's literally like, stop, please stop.
Get it out.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I'm a big John Bernthal fan. Not a lot of people are. Like Jordan cannot. He does not.
Jordan
like John.
Hates.
He hates him. He hates him, and he hates Tom Hardy. And those are two of my favorite actors. So
I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know, man. But John Bernthal in this is just so like out of left field. Yeah, it's so out of left field, but he does a great job. Like, he knows Reggie in the bar, so immediately, like, oh, okay, he's trusted. He's one of the guys.
There's like trust there immediately.
So it's the best way to set up him being the guy trying to take out Kate.
Yeah,
because there's no way you can see that coming.
Also, I have to ask because I've never been super clear. Do you guys think Reggie's gay?
You know, I think so because
not that there's an issue with that. Let me just preface this. It's 2024, all right?
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
No, I'm actually glad you brought that up because when I was watching it my second time, which was earlier today, actually at work, there's a part where it's when they're at the bar, and she's like, "What is this place? Where did you bring me?" And he's like, "A bar." And she's like, "There's cowboys." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a cowboy." And she's like, "No, you're a redneck." And he's like, "Yeah, I got a wife." And then she starts laughing. And then he says, "I got a trailer." And I'm like, why is him having a wife a joke?
Right. Or like there's the scene in her apartment where she's like getting dressed. And he's like, "We gotta get you a new bra, woman." Just like I don't know, like he could be. I just like it's never clearly stated. Not that it even has to be, but I just like had that thought like,
well,
I think Reggie's gay.
I think it's hard for us as humans and especially as men to think, okay, this dude's working closely with an attractive woman and he can just be in this apartment with her. She's in her bra and he's not fazed by it at all. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So we have to naturally wonder what's going on. There's just no way around it. So like, yeah, I had that suspicion, but like, when she laughs at him saying, "I have a wife," I was like,
why is that funny?
Yeah. And also, like, when they're sitting down with John Bernthal and there's, like, just randomly some blonde chick sitting next to him, like, they really emphasize Kate having this, like, potential romance. But when it comes to Reggie, it's just like,
There's nothing there.
There's nothing. Yeah. It's just like, so. Yeah, but it is interesting to kind of think about.
Yeah.
Because it could also just be they're establishing that they've just been together.
They've been partners for a long time.
And they just look at each other as like brother and sister, maybe. Or, you know.
That could be it.
So, who knows? I really like Reggie in this, though.
I do too.
He's that great, like, concerned friend that's not included.
Yeah. Well, there's like the scene, right, where they get to like the border patrol like area where they've got all the immigrants like detained, and he's like asking her a bunch of questions. She's like, "Do you think I haven't asked these questions?" And he's like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Do you think you could do better?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Go ahead." And he's just like, "Matt, can we talk for a minute?" Just like immediately like pulls him over, you know.
It works.
Like, you know, and just like he is a phenomenal character. He did a really good job in it. Like I mean, all the actors did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that reminds me. Speaking of Josh Brolin, he originally turned down this movie because he had just finished filming Everest, I think.
Yeah,
and the cinematographer, which I can't remember his name, but I know he did 1917, which I think is like a masterful like piece of film.
For cinematography, absolutely.
Yeah, so like
Begged Josh Brolin to be on this.
Yeah, he begged him, and that's the only reason Josh Brolin did it.
Yeah.
And it's cool just because I'm like, I don't know who else could have played that role as well as Josh Brolin did. Like,
I don't think anyone.
he just is so like nonchalant. Yeah. Like the way he's wearing like the thong flip flops in the first briefing with Kate, and like
Josh Brolin actually hates his feet, like hates wearing sandals, right? And so like that was a huge struggle point for him in this movie. Like people seeing his feet and whatnot, like he did not like that at all.
Well, it's funny because they emphasize, like they show Kate.
I know they're like right on.
Yeah, she's like, huh. But it just kind of tells us as the viewer, like, this guy doesn't give a fuck unless he's out in the
like
field.
This guy, this guy is not normal. Like there's nothing normal about what's going on with this guy involved.
Yep, exactly. So I appreciated it, and I just like his character. Like his character is always so non-serious in the most serious situation. Like
like they get on the plane. And they're just like DOD flies in private jets. He's just like, yeah, you guys don't have one of these? And he kicks his sandals off and he just lays down. And she's just like, is there any food on this flight? He's like, there's some bitchin' peanuts in the back, but it's kind of like a self-serve kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then she like asks him, I can't remember what she asked him. And he's just like, yeah, amazing. Because he's like falling asleep, like immediately. Man's been laying down for 10 seconds. And he's like already falling. He's just like, yeah, amazing. It's just like done, gone.
I love that whole plane ride too, because she's like kind of observing her surroundings and everything, and then like the way they filmed it really adds to it. But like she's staring at Alejandro, and he just like, and it gives you a jump scare. Like, and I love that because I think something in this movie that's so cool is there's a lot of horror elements, and it's not even like it's intentional. It's just like the subject matter is like horrifying.
Right.
And, this director also did Prisoners, which is like a thriller, but it has horror elements too. And I think that's accidental as well. Like, I don't think it's like intentional, like, oh, I want to make a horror movie, but it's just the subject matter and the way that he films things. Like, my favorite example is like the bodies hanging from the bridge. If that was in a Saw movie, you would have had some like suspenseful music to really sell like horror moment. There's no music at all in that scene.
Yeah.
It's just dead silence. You just hear the car bumping on the road and she's just staring at bodies hanging off the bridge. And it's like, oh, like it's just
uncomfortable.
And it makes it feel so real.
Yeah.
Because in real life, we don't hear horror music when we see something horrifying. It's just like, oh, there's that. That's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And in regards to the music, so they took a lot of inspiration from, they wanted the music to almost feel threatening when there was music. So they took a lot of inspiration from Jaws.
Oh, wow.
Like that. Dun-na. So like, especially like, the scene when they're getting ready to go to Juarez and you're kind of traveling along the border and then you see it, like it's like the sound is in a way like it's supposed to make Juarez seem like a monstrous entity in of itself. And so like it just builds that tension that they're going into like the belly of the beast essentially.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say the music in this reminds me a lot of Shot Caller, if you guys have seen that. And really the tone of this movie kind of reminds me of Shot Caller sometimes too. Shot Caller has like some scenes that are very similar.
Another John Bernthal movie.
Hey.
Plays the same character every time.
Just saying. Yeah. What?
He plays himself.
Hey, not in The Accountant.
That is true.
Yeah,
that's what I always throw in Jordan's face. I'm like, you want to see John Bernthal act? Watch The Accountant.
He acted his ass off in that.
Fuck yeah, he did.
That's another good movie.
Oh yeah, and they're making a sequel, and I'm so excited.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Finally, it's like been 11 years or some shit since the first one came out. But yeah, they finally started. They started pre-production in spring. I don't know if it's filming yet or not, but could actually look that up on the side here. A little side quest. One other positive. Emily Blunt.
Mhm.
I was a big fan of her after I saw her in Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, good movie.
And
Good movie.
love that movie. But she's definitely like more of a supporting role to Tom Cruise.
Mhm.
Her as a leading role, I'm digging it. Like,
Yeah.
I really am for it. She does a great job in this movie. I can almost say she's my favorite character, except with her, you get everything. And
Mhm.
when you give me everything, that doesn't intrigue me. So
Right.
that's why Alejandro is just like my dude. But
Mhm.
I really appreciate her as the main protagonist.
Yeah, I was gonna have her as my favorite, but I felt like that was basic.
Dude, talk about good acting.
Oh
Like,
God, yeah.
she sells every emotion in this movie
Yeah.
so well.
Yes.
Especially when he comes to visit her at the end of the movie, Alejandro,
Mhm.
and makes her sign the paper saying we did everything by the books.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man, that's such a powerful
Yeah.
scene. Because he said, "You remind me of my daughter," that they took.
Yeah.
And then it's like a minute later, he's got a gun to her chin. It's like,
Right.
what the fuck?
She's just because she's like crying. She's like, I can't sign that, and he's just like, you would be committing suicide.
But dude,
And
yeah,
then like comes up underneath and has the gun. Like,
but her face literally
Yeah.
says, like, she's face acting. It literally
Mhm.
says, like, I'm contemplating letting this guy kill me.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So I was watching this video where this person said that she's the antagonist of the movie. And he pretty much was trying to say, to really like paraphrase it, he was saying because she kept saying like it's not by the book. It wasn't necessarily the book of the agency, it was her own book. It didn't if it was something that she didn't like, then the only issues that really arose was because of her. And I was like, that's interesting. I disagree with that, but it's an interesting take.
I will say I disagree with it, but this is one of those movies that is teetering on the fine line of right and wrong.
Yes.
And
there's a lot of more like morally gray in this movie, because you're like, okay, well, we're hunting bad guys, like the baddest of the bad guys, like guys who butcher children, right? And like, so like, all right, well, we have to kind of like blur that line a little bit to get there, and so it is morally gray, and I think it's designed and produced in a way to kind of make you question those morals. Like, would I cross that line to get to where I needed to be to, make these things happen?
Yeah.
And, so I think it's designed like that for a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And us as normal people, like, we can pick a side in this movie very easily. Like, you can be with Josh Brolin and be like, this needs to happen.
Yeah.
Fuck the law. Get it done. Or you could be with Kate and just be like, this isn't morally right. We need to do things by the, so like whoever you were watching, I can understand there's another perspective you could have with this movie, like to where she is like the problem.
Yeah.
Versus like us, we're like, it is kind of getting a little sketchy. Me personally, I'm conflicted though, because I find myself rooting for them to get it done. Like,
yeah, I'm the same way. Get it done.
But then I also understand where she's coming from of like, because I think in the moment I'd be like, oh man, I don't know. Like, it's getting a little crazy for me. Like, when they see she goes into the tunnel and sees things she's not supposed to see, like that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah. I don't know. And then if she knew what Alejandro did at the house at the end of the movie,
she definitely wouldn't have been okay with that.
I ain't okay with shooting kids. That's all I'm gonna say.
And two, I like as far as like morally gray, right? And like I think that's a big purpose behind what's his name? Silvio, the cop.
Yeah.
So like you see like his life essentially. Played out like a lot of his day-to-day stuff, his kid, his wife, and things like that. And then you come to find out, like, oh, he's a bad guy. Like he's Mule and Coke, and like it's like, well, he probably doesn't have a choice, right? Like he's probably being forced into this, and all that jazz. But it like makes you. Oh, I'm not gonna say make you, because some people might not, but like it almost like forces like some sympathy on a corrupt cop, So again, just kind of like reinforcing that moral gray area, where it's like, all right, we're crossing that line, we're gonna get stuff done, and what happens.
I have a. That's actually my gripe with this movie. Why it's not a 5. I don't know. I get what you're saying, Matt. Like I'm all for the message and like why we're seeing this cop and his family and everything.
Mhm.
Me personally, you're introducing me to this group of eclectic characters. I would rather we see somebody that is more pertinent to the story that we're seeing with these characters. Like, so maybe like Josh Brolin's character, somebody like they have a family. We see that, and then something happens to them, and we see how it affects them. Because for me, you're going to show me this cop who barely has a name to me as a viewer. I'm like, okay,
yeah, we don't know his name until the end.
Yeah, much. It's like nameless cop. Okay, he's got a kid. All right, and then they kind of show tidbits here and there, and then at the end you see the kid playing soccer, and his dad's dead, and that's the ending shot of the movie, and I'm just like, I don't know, I have a little bit of a gripe with that.
I think it's supposed to like kind of show like that life moves on. And that what we perceive as like Juarez being almost like a war zone is everyday life over there. So like
that's
Silvio, this cop, this kid's dad is just gone, right? Like we don't know if they like realize what's happened or if they know, but he's just gone, and like they're continuing their lives,
and I get, that's what I'm saying. I get what they're trying to like tell with that story.
The movie could have been the exact same without it.
Well, I'm saying I appreciate it. I just wish it was with a character I actually was emotionally invested in. Like, for example, yeah, but with his family being dead, I'm like, all right. But like, for example, say Steve has a wife and kid. Steve dies at the end of the movie. We see how that affects them. I'm invested in Steve.
Okay, I see your point.
He's been directly in correlation with our protagonist.
He's made me giggle, so I like him.
Yeah, it's just somebody that I'm like invested in. When you just show me this cop, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's one of however many that there are, and it's like I was more invested in John Bernthal, and he had less screen time.
Yeah, fair.
So it's just like, I don't know. That's my issue.
Point. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's like you can show me a random whoever, but I'd rather know about the person. I'd rather be invested in them, just like I am everyone else in this movie. So that's my gripe. Right. That's the only reason this movie isn't a 5 for me.
All right, fair enough. But Dima, you want to get into your gripes? You got any? Because I got a list.
Jesus. Well, I'm sure Dima's got some gripes about, I don't know, maybe tactical stuff or guns.
No, I mean.
Oh, okay. And uniforms?
No. So,
let me down.
Did you thank the Delta operators for their service?
I did, absolutely. I was saluting the screen the whole time. No, I wasn't really trying to focus on the uniforms or the tactical. I was mainly focusing on the storyline itself and how the actors portrayed their characters with this one.
Do you have any gripes about that?
I really don't. It's actually where most of my praises come from, especially with Blunt. Emily, yep. Emily Blunt the way she portrayed her character, especially in the beginning when they found all the bodies hidden in the walls and everything, and then
Wild scene.
Yeah.
Wild scene.
Completely diabolical that we just overlooked that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Can you imagine if you bought a house, right?
Yeah.
And like you're just like hanging a picture one day, and like you feel just a little bit too soft of a mush when you put that nail into the wall to hang a picture. So you cut a piece of the drywall out to see like, maybe like I fucked up the insulation or something, and it's a fucking body.
Yeah, no, it was insane.
I wonder if you'd get your money back.
Jordan would just like patch it up.
Yeah, that's not that, guys.
I would never be able to sleep in there.
Dima, I am so glad you said that because my second favorite shot of the movie is the homeboy sitting in the house, just chilling, and then the fucking the fucking truck just backs through the
armored carrier comes through.
Just comes through their fucking living room, like knock.
Sitting on like seats that they've taken out of like a minivan. It's not even like a couch or anything. It's like those truck bench seats that we had at the garage at the mall. Like it's just like.
But dude, I mean, they don't fuck around with knocking or trying to breach the door. It's
in
just
there.
Fuck your house. It's so. I mean, what a way to start a movie too.
Yeah,
dude. Oh yeah, damn. It was definitely a 5 out of 5.
But then, and Denis Villeneuve, however you say his name, he does this shit so well. He's so good with surprises. And that's why I said, like, John Bernthal is my favorite surprise in the movie. But, like, when they think it's all said and done, they're, like, you know, searching the crime scene for evidence and whatever. And then that fucking bomb goes off in the shed. Yep. It's just like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yep.
I mean, I remember the first time I watched this movie, that completely caught me off guard.
Dude, I forgot about half of this movie. Like, I remembered this and that throughout it, but I forgot about a lot more than what I thought I did. And
well, there's a lot too. That's why I said this one needed its own episode because
absolutely
we skipped the freaking beginning, and there's so much just to the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, but like when that shed, I think it was like a shed.
It's a shed,
exploded. It took me for a surprise for sure. I was like,
yeah, because they show the cop messing with there's like a hatch on the floor with a lock.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, there's something down there. Figure out probably more people or something. And
I just figured drugs.
But that's where Denis is such a genius because it makes your brain start thinking all these other things, but what's actually about to happen. And it's just like, fuck. Same with John Bernthal. It's like you're thinking, oh, okay, he's a trusted friend. So I don't know. He's just really good with the surprises.
Yes.
I had originally thought that it was maybe like a tunnel.
Yeah.
You know?
Possibly, yeah.
The
tunnels are definitely
that's where like cartels. That's kind of where your mind goes to is tunnels. You know.
Yeah.
Tunnels
under a car.
Yeah.
But the way Emily Blunt like played, like just in that scene, like specifically right after the bomb exploded, and then she's like stumbling to get to her feet. She really, I mean, she's great all the time. Like she fucking killed that part. You could believe like they actually blew that shed up with her right there, and it really did force her to get thrown and everything else. Like,
well, before she blacks out, she sees that officer who I think they lost her leg or something. They're trying to crawl, and it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, wild.
And she played that because obviously it fucking shows it. Her character has got got PTSD from all that, and she even played like to that extreme with the PTSD very, very well. It was very believable, and she had that 1,000-yard stare, and she was really jumpy still, and everything. Like just her and herself absolutely killed it for me. I mean, without including everybody else, I'd say it was probably, just herself was perfect in the way she portrayed this character.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to become a big fan of like strong female leads.
Have you seen the sequel to A Quiet Place? A Quiet Place 2? She's phenomenal in that movie.
Good movies.
Like she's really good.
I haven't seen the new one yet, but
I haven't seen the new one yet either. I've heard some mixed reviews, but I'm still going to watch it. But the first one was so good, but the second one is just like Emily Blunt killing it.
Mhm.
Like it's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I recommend that one to you, Dima, for sure. I'm just a fan of hers, I think, and and I can say that about everyone that's in this movie. That's what's so cool. It's like all the cast. I love everything I've seen them in. Matt's boy was in Burn Notice. It's one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh, such a good TV show.
Top
I'd
tier.
say that's probably what he's widely most known for is probably Burn Notice.
Yeah. Yeah, I told Abby she needs to watch. I think she would like it.
Oh, it's so good. I tried to get Janie to watch it, and she's like, it's so goofy. I'm like, well, it's kind of supposed to be.
Well, see, Abby would like that, though, because she, at the same time period, they had Psych on USA Network, and she binged Psych, loves Psych. So I was like, you need to watch Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Psych and Burn Notice at the same time, and I loved both shows.
Yeah.
They're not the same, but like,
Right.
I think she would appreciate it. So
yeah, I agree.
But okay, all right, Dima.
Yes.
You gave this movie a lower rating than me. I need to know why. What do you not like about it? You son of a bitch. You just don't want to give it a 5.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really want to give it a 5. Like
why?
4.5, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, is there something about it you wish you got more of, or I mean, is there like?
I mean,
who is freaking what?
Not really. I don't want to give it the 5.
What? Okay, let me answer this. What could be done to the movie to make it a 5 for you?
So I feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's missing something. Like just some little extra sprinkle.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I wanted more of Steve.
Really?
I'm not just saying that to make Matt happy.
You are.
He's blushing over there.
The second time around watching it today, I was like, he is such a unique character, like a standout with little screen time. And it's a shame. It is a shame.
I think I wanted more bridge or border or whatever that is.
More scenes like the border crossing.
No, I just feel like that scene needed to be a little longer.
Really?
Yeah. Like the action part of it. Like it didn't.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
It didn't necessarily need it, but I wanted it.
I look at it as like those guys, right? Like these Delta guys, right? Like they're supposed to be like the best at what they do. And like you want it to be like quick and clean, right? Like you especially in like such an open area like that. If you're getting into an engagement, like you want it to be over as quickly as possible. Like things get drawn out, people get hurt, your guys get shot. Like it just like we're in and out, right? So like I feel like honestly it was the perfect amount of time.
And I agree. Like when it comes down to like tactically the way it should be, it was perfection. Me as a
for a movie, you wanted to be longer. I get it.
Yes. Like, yeah.
Can I be honest about something? And
no.
I mean, it's kind of petty. It's very petty. Let me just like read you guys a little something right here. We'll see. I'm gonna see if you guys agree with me on this. I don't know if you guys have seen all these movies. All right. So I really wish I knew how to pronounce this guy's name. Denis Villeneuve, the director. I hate admitting this. I love, not just like love, every movie that he has made that I have seen. And I can't say that about any other director on this earth.
Except for Dima.
No. Nope. Let me read you his movie. Prisoners. Enemy. Sicario. Arrival. Blade Runner 2049. Dune Part 1. Dune Part 2. Yeah. They're all fucking bangers.
Yeah.
They're all epic bangers. They're beautifully made. They're so good. They have killer stars. It's like, this guy just doesn't miss.
He doesn't.
He does not miss. Now, I will say a lot of these had some, like Blade Runner 2049 had terrible box office, but it is like a masterpiece. If
I
you're
agree with that.
a fan of like sci-fi thriller, like it is a masterpiece. And then Enemy is one of my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movies. It's very low budget,
Mhm.
A24 movie, but it's so good. So good. And then he has some earlier movies that I haven't seen, but I need to watch. Like he's got a movie from 1998.
Damn.
So, yeah.
That's a long time
But
ago.
2013 is when Prisoners came out. And then all the ones I listed up until now.
Yeah.
I've seen all of them. I love all of them. I've watched all of them several times.
Damn.
And I'm just like, man, I'm a huge fan of this guy. And I have a hard time admitting that. Like, I don't know, it's like a petty thing. Like, because even like directors I consider my favorite director, I don't like all of their movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm just like having this epiphany about this guy. And I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he definitely does a great job with his movies. He's very good at what he does. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I mean, dude, there was a while where Prisoners was my favorite movie.
Damn.
Like, I think Prisoners is just insanely good. Like, how well that movie is thought out and filmed and acted. And, like, I can watch it several times. And I find, like, we did a podcast on Prisoners. And it's like, even for that, I told you guys there was all this crap I found out that I hadn't seen the previous 20 times I watched it. I think Prisoners is just crazy. But yeah, I don't know. This guy's a good director.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
Yeah.
Fucking
How
guy.
dare he give us
And
something
I'm gonna
amazing
watch
all the time.
I'm gonna watch Sicario too, and I'm gonna be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
I will
actually
say
didn't know there's more than one.
I like Sicario 1 more than I like Sicario 2.
Yes.
So I'm just going to put that out there now.
I do remember.
They're both good.
Yeah.
But Sicario 1's better.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it for Dima, but Matt, I'm sure you can figure out why I wouldn't like the second one as much.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Okay. All right. Dima, watch the second one.
Mhm.
Oh, well.
It picks, I mean, it doesn't like pick up where this one leaves off, but it's
Mhm.
got same
It's close.
characters and it's like a continuation. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good. Very good. Oh, I have confirmed The Accountant 2 is coming out next year. It is in post-production right now
Oh,
Holy
all right.
shit.
with the entire original cast, even J.K.
Oh.
Simmons. Oh, yeah.
Give me.
All
It's
right.
literally the same group making a sequel to that awesome movie. So that's going to be cool.
All right.
I'm excited. And
Oh my John Byrne.
the first one came out in 2013, I think.
2016.
2016. Okay. But yeah,
All right. So 8 years.
it's been 8 years. Not as long as I thought, but still,
9 years next year.
it's crazy that we've waited that long for a sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
Because it definitely ends like there's going to be a sequel,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just didn't give us one. It's like, all right. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Especially because our boy John Bernthal's coming back. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Matt, let's just go unhinged on your gripes. Let's go.
All right. So let's just start off. Oh, let me my list. All right. So there's like a whole shtick in this movie, right? And it's not really found out till like part of the way through that like Josh Brolin's character is CIA and CIA can't conduct missions on U.S. soil without like a federal agency attached to them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that like that would also kind of go for the Delta Force operators, that active duty like United States military personnel cannot be armed and participate in law enforcement operations. It's like due to the Posse Comitatus Act. There was like an exception made for drug operations during the Clinton administration, but that's because they were ordered directly by the president for like the Delta Force snipers that were on site for Waco, right?
Oh wow.
Wow.
So like there's that. Everybody's kit in this movie is a fucking mess. From like play carriers with like pistol mags, like their pistol mag pouch like up here, and it's like, dude, how, like, show me like a speed reload with your pouch fucking up here, right?
I
Like
actually want to see that.
that just like that doesn't work, right? Like nobody's, and it's like there's like some kit that like some of the like Delta Force guys are using that has never been or hasn't been issued by the United States military in like 20 years, right? Like we're using like decades old kit for this movie, and it's like I understand that like these guys like typically for like these like tier 1 special forces guys, right? Like they'll have like a supply person, and the supply person's job is to like literally get them whatever they want. And if they're like, hey, I want this plate carrier, like at that point you're in the upper echelon of like special operations, and you have such like specific niche like things that you're doing that like if you're like, I want to run this plate carrier, like there's nobody to tell you no. You know, whereas like your big army guys, it's like, nah, dude, you're running the IOTV and you don't have a fucking choice. Like that's just how it is. But like these Delta Force guys, they can get issued whatever they want, you know, and they have the funds to get issued whatever they want. And then there's the scene in when they're getting towards the bridge crossing, that Alejandro just straight flags Kate with his MP5.
He does.
Like just straight, like he's just like bring your window down, like, and it's just like, dude, like watch where you're pointing that thing, man. Like it's just like, and then it just like, and then his gun actually changes. I don't know if anybody notices that, but
No.
like he has one gun when he gets out, and then when everybody gets back in the cars, it's a different gun.
Oh.
Just like, and it's like, it's a barely noticeable difference because the guns are barely different. But if like, you know, firearms, like you will notice that like it is a different gun. And then if you, I don't know if anybody noticed this, but the red car in the bridge crossing scene, if you look at it, there's no key in the ignition.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Like the coffee cup in Game of Thrones, there's no key in the ignition.
Yeah, that's bad. You know, this movie's a 2 out of 5.
I did. So he's using a, they're both Heckler and Koch firearms. They're both MP5s, but one is the MP5 A3 that he's using beforehand, and then when he gets back in, it's the MP5 SD3. So 2 different firearms. Both MP5s, but different.
He's like a Grand Theft Auto character. He just generates guns out of
nowhere. Just whatever. Let's see. What else did I have on here?
I love
There's like some stuff like in the briefing scene. There's like at one point the projector is on, and then at one point it's like off, like while it's still going, like while like the thing's still going, and then it cuts back and then it's on again. But like whatever. The biggest thing that I'm like, oh come on, is when, no, I won't even say the biggest. It's when they're getting ready to go to the tunnel, and they tell Kate and Reggie that they don't have to go, but they're like, Kate's like, nah, like we're in this till the end, right? And they're like, they go out to their car to get their like tack kit and all that, and they like pop open the trunk and they're getting their vests out, and she's like hands Reggie plates, and she's like front and back, right?
Yeah.
And they're like putting those in their vests. Those are just side plates. Those are meant to go here, not here, because they're like this big. Like they're not gonna cover any vitals.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know anything about any of this shit, and I thought something was off about that. Like today when I was watching it, she said that front and back, and he even looked like it's weird because Reggie even looks like, It made me think, wait, what? And I was like, wait, those look really small.
Yeah, they're side plates, 100%.
But like seriously,
They're
watch it back. Reggie looks like he
Yeah.
has like a reaction of like, wait, what?
That was his natural reaction.
Yeah,
there was
natural
no
reaction,
acting with that.
Yeah. And I was just like, come on. Like, but it also reminded me, and it could be on purpose, but like there's a video of a guy, I think it's from, I want to say Moonlight Industries. It's a company, it's a guy, he makes like chess rigs.
Mm-hmm.
And the ATF shows up at his business because he had bought a binary trigger, which if you don't know what a binary trigger is, it's like you're shooting your gun, right? And you trigger pull, round goes off, you release the trigger to reset it, and another round goes off. So it's like boom, 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 boom. It's a way to like simulate like full auto fire, like without like a bump stock or which are legal to own again, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows that, but you can own a bump stock legally now. But it's a way to like simulate that, right? And they're wearing their carriers, and you can see the outline of their plates and their carriers, and they're circular. And it actually looks like they're circular, and they've got like two nubs up here. And it literally looks like they took like a circular steel hanging target and just put that in their vest because they didn't have plates.
God.
And so I was like, all right, maybe like this is kind of like like they're federal agents, so they don't know what they're doing, like kind of thing. But like that part will forever bug me. And then like for most of the part, like the tactics are like kind of on point as far as like movements and like, like how they, carry themselves and carry their firearms and things like that. Except for when we get to the tunnel scene, like most of that just like goes out of the fucking window. So they're like moving through these tunnels, right? And they're like, there's like the scene when the guy first goes in, he slings his rifle and then like pulls out a knife. And it's just like, nah, dude. Like at that point, like we're in there, like, you're not pulling out a knife to just kill the first guy at the door. Like if you're going in, right? Somebody's just gonna smoke that dude from the get-go. And it's just like, I understand it's probably just because it was a really cool shot. Like you see him like silhouetted against the opening of the like tunnel, and you see like sky in the background, and you see him like closing in like with his knife and whatnot. It's a cool shot. Tactically, it's fucking unnecessary. And then there's the thermal on like that Alejandro's wearing, that like he like comes in and like the body's still warm, but like the blood that's pooling is not warm. And it's like that's directly leaking from that body. It would still be warm under thermal. And then you can see like the boot prints.
Ooh, you're right. Good catch.
In the sand. That's not real. That's not how that works. They literally, to get that shot, they literally took like a heat gun and warmed up the soles of the shoes. To be able to like get that contrast. But like in the real world, that's not how that works, because then if the soles of the shoes are that hot, that means everything's that hot.
That's one of those things. I watched this mini doc on YouTube about things you have to do in a movie to appease an audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things. Like, it's like people see that don't have the knowledge you have, Matt, and they're just like, okay, yeah, there's the footsteps. Okay, good.
You're like, yeah, that looks so cool. Like,
yeah.
Like, and then you got guys like me, and they're just like, that's not fucking real. Like, that's not how any of this works. Like,
yeah.
And then like again, like tactics wise, right? Like you've got these tier 1 guys in these tunnels, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, firefights starting and all that. And then there's that scene where there's one of the Delta guys like in the prone position, like shooting down the tunnel. And it's like, that's not fucking real. Like no tier 1 operator, no one who knows anything about tactics is gonna like essentially every spot in that tunnel is what we would refer to as a fatal funnel, right?
Yep.
Like if somebody gets up on the fucking corner, right, and is able to just peek out, right, like, and you can only see part of their body where that rifle's coming out, like, and you cannot hit them, you are not going to get down on the fucking ground and shoot down that. You are going to also peek fucking corners.
Yes.
No one is laying on the ground just shooting into an open tunnelway. That's not real. No one operates like that. No one moves like that unless you have no idea what you're doing.
Oh,
and then also, like, the scene where he's like, do you want to go over ROE, which is like rules of engagement? And Josh Brolin's like, no, we'll save that for later. And the guy, the Delta team leader, is just like, all right, cool. That's also not fucking real. Like, we're going to go over every facet of this op before we go. We're not just going to be like, we'll just sprinkle in the rules of engagement later. It doesn't work like that, because not like, this is like CIA, right? CIA like has pulled these guys into doing this, which is already not real. But like, if we're pulling in Delta operators into like ops, they're going to run it like an op. They're not criminals. They're not just like dudes out on the street doing whatever.
That's
you
true.
know, like they have rules of engagement they need to follow. They have, you know, after action reports that need to be done. Like, it's not just like, yeah, just do whatever you want. Like, just because Josh Brolin says you can. Like, it just doesn't work like that. None of this is how this works.
But it makes them so cool, Matt.
It does make them cool.
And
if only we could just do that in real life. But like, it just like, that's the most frustrating part. And it's my fault. I should have joined the army. Like, it's
you can't
it's
just enjoy
fault.
movies.
But like, I can't just sit down and enjoy something like that, because I just like see everything that's wrong. And like, anytime we watch anything like that, like, and like a scene will show up where somebody's like manipulating a firearm or doing something like that, and I'm just watching, like, me and Janie, she'll literally just like look at me and she's just like, what'd they do wrong? And I'm like, let me tell you about it. Like, let me tell you exactly what they did wrong. And like, for the most part, like, they were okay. Like, their tactics were okay, their movements were okay, their communications were okay. But it's just like, some of those things, those little nitpicky things that I have, like, that just goes to show, like, they probably had somebody on staff to like go through tactics with them with filming, because I do know that like the filming of the bridge scene took like a couple days, right? So they had to build that like full scale model, like the bridge, to do those scenes. It's like very clearly somebody like on staff there going through tactics, but it's probably somebody who had, and I'm not gonna like be like, oh, that whoever that was didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but like, it had probably been a while since they had been in and gone over these tactics. Because especially like some like room clearing and like things like that, like, it's like, if you're like clearing structures and you're clearing tunnels and your things like that, you're not quick and dirty with it. Like, you're methodical, right? Like, every nook and cranny of that place is going to get searched, because all it takes is you walk into a room and, oh, I didn't look behind the freaking door. And it's like, congratulations, now the 3 guys in that room are dead.
Yep.
You know, like, and now you've got to drag them out of the tunnel network.
It's funny for me because like, you talked about the guy laying down and how that would never happen. But like, when I watch that, you know, it just reminds me of like Call of Duty, because that's the ridiculous shit you see in video games. Like, I
love playing Call of Duty, don't get me wrong, but I also fucking hate playing Call of Duty. Like, I'll be like I like Call of Duty Warzone when it was like in Verdansk, right?
Yeah, that's
like the OG Call of Duty Warzone, right? Because like, you could still kind of play, you know, realistically, versus like now it's like a bunch of dudes, like, you sprinting in a room and you're sliding on the ground and you're like jumping up and down, and you're like, that's not how that works at all, but like, whatever. But like, I'm miserable to play Call of Duty with. I try really hard, but like, unfortunately I have tactics and things, you know, because I teach, and it just like, I have tactics and things ingrained in my head, and it's very hard for me to get that out. and it just does not translate well to video games, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, you had to jump through a window and just hop like a bunny.
Right, and you're like, there's like
Slide
that
like a
thing where
snake.
they can like jump out the window and 180 and immediately jump back in the other window, and it's just like that's not how this works. Like, you can't do that in real life. Like, it just So like tactics being a big thing in Sicario, like and like Kit, like I can't tell you every time I see like somebody using Kit and anything, I'm just like, oh my god, brother, come on, there he is.
So he took the selfie on set. I want
Yeah.
to get your assessment of what's going on this vest here.
So it's not bad. It's an older model plate carrier with he's got newer shoulder pads on there, which are nice. And like his earpiece, so like the circular thing is his push to talk. That's kind of centrally located, and I'm trying to think. So he's probably right-handed. So a picture usually makes everything backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay, so his tube is probably actually coming down his left arm, which is where you would want it. And then his push to talk is going to be a little bit over on the left, which is fine. And then you have his earpiece in his ear because you want to keep your right shoulder area clear because that's where that buttstock's going into. So you don't want anything to obstruct that. But like, thankfully, he doesn't have like the fucking like in most of the other guys, like where his push to talk is, they would have like 2 pistol bag pouches there. Yeah. And it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing? Why are we putting shit there? Like,
I'll tell you what, those glasses are a choice,
dude. Yes, they 100% with the mustache. It's a tough look. It's a tough look.
That's gonna be my next pair of
See if I
glasses.
can find.
It's just funny because like he reminds me of like a character I would make on Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah.
Except for the glasses. Like I would probably pick a pair of Oakleys or like a backwards cap or I don't know. He's just got some big old...
Yeah, there's a lot of drop leg holsters, which annoys me a little bit. Are you like screen sharing, Kyle, or do you have to how are you showing pictures when you do that?
Yeah, screen sharing, which you should be able to do because Dima did it on one of our streams.
Can I?
Do you have a MacBook?
If you go down, gosh, I think I can't. Yeah, see present.
Yep.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, and then you can like present a tab or a window or your whole screen.
Can you guys see that?
Nope.
Not yet.
Oh. Hang on, let me try again. Share screen. Oh, entire screen. I wonder if that's it.
I think that's the one I did last time.
Yeah, or you can like pick a tab. Like I have that tab. I could just select.
It literally says StreamYard.com is sharing your screen.
StreamYard is not sharing our screen.
They're lying to you.
What a fucking rat.
Let us speak to the manager.
Yeah, can you get Joe on the phone? All right, do me a favor, Kyle.
Yeah.
Share your screen and just in Google type up Sicario. Just type in Sicario Delta operators. And I'm just gonna get a little nitpicky.
All right. I'm excited for this. All right, well, here, let me share my screen and then you can guide traffic. What just happened? Oh, there we go. Share window. I guess that's the window. Why not? Okay.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so scroll. Okay, so that with the red car right there above where you're at. Yep, right there. It's a lot of so that our plate bags are a little low.
Hold on.
First of all,
let me try to get the like full picture here. Oh my gosh. There we go.
There we go. Plate bags are a little low. Okay. And so like those pistol belts with like the holes in them, those are like old school, like GI, like pistol belts. Like nobody uses those. No one.
Oh, I'm still sharing my screen. Okay. That's awkward. Sorry. All right, continue.
No one. And then you can very clearly see that they have like these panels on the back of their plate carriers where their water bladders are supposed to be. There ain't nothing in there.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I
There
didn't
ain't
notice
nothing in
any
there.
of this.
And then if you go back out to Google.
Hold on 1 second here. Is Haas drooping his pants?
Yeah, 100%.
That's terrible. Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
That belt's not even secure
Um,
to his pants.
Okay, you see that one with so there's two with Josh Brolin right there. Either will work.
Wait. Like this one? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
So like,
I wish I knew how to make these just like full. Oh, that's a video.
we're sharing a video.
Hold on.
Oh no!
Copyright.
Oh,
Copyright.
Sicario too. Oh,
Copyright. Copyright.
No. So like, he's got 4 AR mag pouches right there, but then he's got 2 pistol mag pouches up above those. What are we doing with those right there? Why are those right there?
More pouches.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
More pouches.
That's just
There you
go.
Oh yeah.
It's like we're just putting shit on there just to have stuff on there. That's literally all that is. Or even this guy with his knife right here. Like, what you doing with that, big guy? Like, why you got that right there?
It's his tit knife.
Yeah, I didn't
And
know.
also you can tell in literally all of these plate bags, there are no plates in there. They do not have plates in there.
Yeah,
that's
they
like
didn't want to
my
have
biggest
way down.
gripe about movies that use kit most of the time. Is they don't put anything in there, and it's like, dude, you could literally Emerson Gear makes foam inserts the size of like hard plates that don't weigh anything, that you can just sit in there and it just simulates like the thickness of like a plate being in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it doesn't look like you just don't have anything in there. Just like little stuff like that when it comes to like kit, right? And also like, this is my only gripe with my boy, right? My only gripe is like generally that like broom handle grip that he's got going on there on that vertical foregrip.
About this.
Nobody does that anymore. Nobody does that. That's not. We use a modified C grip, and that's just not that.
Yeah.
What do you think about how he's holding the gun?
It's a little too far over on his shoulder.
It's he's like riding into his plate bag, which is like fine, like that happens, you know.
Okay.
I also hate single point slings, because like that just like you're just asking for this barrel to like knock you in the nads.
Yeah.
Because there's like no good way to like retain that firearm. So it's just like flopping around everywhere, right? And like it's just little things like that just bug the absolute piss out of me.
Hold up. I have to bring this up. I just gotta get your opinion on this, Matt. What's going on?
So this is the scene. So they're on the border crossing, right?
Yeah.
And they know that this is right when Alejandro flags Kate, which is, first of all, like, dude, come on, man. Like, but like they know that the dudes 2 lanes over have like guns in the car and whatnot. So yeah. he's like gun up, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like somebody gets on the radio and they're like, permission to get out of the vehicle and set a perimeter. And the team lead's just like, negative, like, you can do what they do. If they get out of the car, you can get out of the car. And then at that moment, he like reaches down and unlocks the car doors so that way they can get out quickly if they need to. Okay. But in the same respect, my man should have just done this deal.
Yeah.
Unlock the car door.
Thank you.
You don't ever want to take your hand off your fire controls.
It literally
This
screams
needs
like
to stay there.
I'm gonna try really hard to look fucking tactical right now.
Yeah.
Like
That's exactly what that is.
instead of just being tactical, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to look.
And I'm also not 100% sure because I'm not super familiar with EOTechs, which is that holographic sign on there. But I'm almost positive that that's fake. That's not a real EOTech.
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting about this shot to me, Matt. And that's why I was laughing so hard. And maybe I'm an idiot for laughing about this, but he's looking down the scope like he's ready to shoot, but he doesn't have a finger near the trigger. So it's
Also,
like
his
it's like you're gonna see some shit you're gonna want to shoot, and you can't pull the trigger.
I never noticed this before, but his bolt is locked back, and you can't see around, which means that mag is empty.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
But so like even if his hand was on his fire control, right? So like that's what that looks like, right? Like
Yeah.
I do not have a mag.
Hold on 1 second there.
I don't have a mag in here. This is cleared safe, right? For all those wieners who are going to be weird about this watching this. But like this is what that looks like, right? There is no round in there, right? He had a mag, but like you would be able to see brass, which means he's like didn't have a round like ready to go.
Oh my god.
That's great. That picture might be my favorite picture from the movie now.
He's trying to be real hard.
It's just the one eye looking down the fucking sight, but he's opening the door so he can't shoot the gun even if he needed to. It's like, why are you looking down the fucking sight?
Yeah.
Just look out the windshield.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. He's still my dude.
Still number one. But yeah.
That's fucking great. Matt, we need to do a whole podcast where you just analyze like war movies and shit.
That's fine. I'm 100% down for it.
Great. Well, Sicario 2 is definitely happening. I can't wait for that.
And if you guys ever do,
you'll get more action in that one, Dima.
Den of Thieves is a good one. I've got some gripes on that one. Even like 13 Hours, like Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, that's a good movie. But like I got gripes on that one.
We did a podcast on that, and that was my least favorite of the war movies we watched.
I like it. I love John Krasinski. You know.
It's the Michael Bay for me, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of his directing. It's flashy.
It's very flashy.
Yeah. There were scenes in that movie that looked like Transformers. I was like, what are we doing here?
My last gripe is gonna be it's the ending when he's clearing the house, right? And he's got like a suppressed gun. And it's like the classic Hollywood suppressor, like, and it's like suppressed firearms don't sound like that. They don't sound like that. And it's something that most people will never understand because they hear the term silencer and they think it's silent. But it's like there's no such thing as a silencer. That's not real. That's science fiction. There are suppressors, and they do suppress the sound, the overall decibel of like a firearm, but like even indoors, like a suppressor it's not quiet.
I watch there's these ex-military guys on YouTube that'll like talk about
exactly who you're talking about.
Okay, well they were talking about the Daniel Craig Bond movies, and they said that they do a good job of like staying true to like gun sounds.
Yeah. Another thing that stays really true and good to like tactics, gear, and like kit, firearms, gun sounds, things like that is the TV show on CBS called SEAL Team. If you've never seen that, you 100% watch it. It's got Dave, whatever his name is. He used to be in Bones. You're familiar with that show?
Yeah. My sister loved that show.
And he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer like a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
shout out to the OG crew, right? Who's familiar with Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah.
But that's really good. Like if you really want to watch like a TV show that does, and obviously there's like drama. It's a TV show, right? It's not all action. But like when they do actually have those parts, they're really good. They're really good. Like that they have got. There's some things wrong with that show, especially in the earlier seasons, but they get so much more right than they do wrong compared to like other movies and TV shows.
I want to talk about the ending as like my last talking point, because I think this movie's ending is so good if I exclude because I think ending with the kid playing soccer is lame.
Dumb. I get it. I understand.
They could have shown that, and then like the ending is just so powerful. When for one, we don't even end with our protagonist, which is against the script of how you make a movie. Like,
yeah,
we see our protagonist aiming a gun out her balcony, and she doesn't shoot, and he walks away. It's like crazy. So we're gonna go with this side character to end the movie, and I love it because it's my favorite character, and it's also like closing in on his little personal story and all this. But how do we feel about him shooting the children and the wife?
I get it. I'm just gonna say it flat out. I get it. We're in that morally gray zone. His wife and daughter were, butchered. So it's like, we're getting even. It's an eye for an eye. I understand.
My thing with it is, and I guess if he was trying to be like efficient and just clear everybody, which he was.
Yeah, because they've seen his face at that point. But also, like,
does he kill the driver?
He did kill the driver. Yeah.
Okay, well, because he says what happens when I get you to, and he doesn't answer.
He was like bleeding out, like he's like bleeding from his neck.
Yeah. You're right. Okay.
He didn't kill the maid though.
Well,
because the maid sees him.
Oh,
somebody had to kill her.
Okay, so that's gonna prove my gripe that I have.
That's countering against like we're just being efficient and we're killing everybody.
Well,
didn't kill the maid.
Because it's like, dude, if you're gonna kill this guy, like you just kill his kid and wife in front of him, so he suffers for like 2 minutes, and then you kill him.
Like 10 seconds.
But it's like,
I will say,
are you really just all about killing kids like that? Like, really?
The hardest scene in the movie,
know, man.
Like, he smokes the 2 kids and the wife, and then he just like sits back and he's just like, "Go ahead and finish your meal."
Yeah.
Tough.
And the dude's in shock. And everything. I'm not saying I don't I think this ending is masterful. But like him as a character, I don't know if I'm sold on the fact that he would just kill kids.
Yeah, I don't know if I am either, to be honest. I think it definitely was a stretch. And I think that part of that plays into, without giving away too much, how he kind of acts in the second one.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, Demo watched the second one, damn you.
Demo watched the second movie?
I shall.
Well, we're definitely going to tackle that next week.
Yeah.
I'm investing in Sicario right now. It's funny. Every time I watch this movie, it makes me want to play Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh, such a good fucking game.
You want to know something funny, Matt? Last time I was playing it, which was this past December, when we moved in this house, that was the first video game I played in this house.
Such a good game.
I was sending them videos. I made our OBF characters my squad. And it was cool. They all looked pretty close. Like, it was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, that game's
Ghost Recon Breakpoint is garbage. Just gonna put that out now. Garbage game.
They wasted my boy John Bernthal.
Garbage game.
Wasted him. Because he is a cool antagonist in the movie. Or in the game. But, yeah, that game sucks. I actually got stuck in that game, and I had to rage quit it forever. Like, I'll never touch it again.
I probably put 10 minutes into it, and I was just like, nah.
I tried. I loved Wildlands so much. I was like, this has to get better.
Wildlands was really good. Really good. Honestly, just so good. And I just, all steam just gone with Breakpoint.
Just a question real quick. Did you play the Predator DLC?
I did.
Okay. What did you think about that?
I thought it was more annoying than anything else.
Yep. That's what I told Jordan. I was like, dude, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
It pissed me off.
It literally, like, I 100% that game, like, all trophies. Like I've done everything.
I was close.
Except
I was
for
close.
beating the Predator mission.
Yep.
I never finished it.
Never finished it. Yeah. I said, fuck this.
Yep. Done.
So, anyways. All right. Well, any closing thoughts on this movie before we go to the second one?
Still 5 out of 5.
Dima, have you changed your rating?
Yeah, I'll go 4.5.
You still haven't stated what you don't like about the fucking movie. You
He can't put his
bastard.
finger on it. He's
No.
gonna like text the Snapchat group at like 2 a.m. Like, I got it. I know what it is.
Well, it doesn't help that Matt pointed that shit out. So that's
Sorry.
all I'm thinking.
Sorry.
Okay, but like when you were watching it and it finished, you were like in your head, oh, okay, it wasn't perfect, but it was good, right?
What would have made it perfect?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What would have made it perfect?
I don't know. It probably is a 5 because I really can't think of anything. I didn't want to give it.
So yeah, that means it's a fucking 5, Dima.
Dima,
If you
you're off
can't
the
think of
podcast.
anything that would make the movie better, that means it can't get better. That means it's at the top of the rating.
You're being like I am with Denis Villeneuve, where I don't want to admit that he's probably my favorite director. Like,
No, it's a 5.
it's a 5. Yeah, fuck it, it's a 5.
That's what I thought.
You know what? It is perfect.
I'm healthy again. It's perfect, and I'm healthy. So,
well, okay,
All right, boys.
I just want to say really quick. Next time you come on your demo with some fucking rating and you can't tell us what you don't like about the movie, we get to kick your ass.
We're gonna replace you with Jordan.
Like, we get to literally jump you and film it and put it on our YouTube.
No, that's good. I'll get some likes.
We got to get Jordan on here more. I want a 4th screen on here with fucking Jordan's face on there.
He came on here for our episode talking about Married to Crow, and he was just like a black screen, and all he wanted to do was bitch about the Joker sequel. He didn't even want to talk about the movie. It's like, you fucking bastard.
Yeah, get him back on, or get somebody on here. Cody, I don't care.
Cody on here is great. I love having Cody on here. Well, we're gonna do Too Fast, Too Furious with Cody.
Oh, we are.
We're just gonna schedule it, but
All right.
yeah. So you get on with that.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, I gotta go eat dinner and shit.
All right, boys. This is fun.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. I am going to do a Saturday episode this week and get this train rolling again. So see you guys then. And then next Wednesday we're gonna be doing Sicario too. So until then,
all right, dudes.
See you guys
later.